Imagine your kids standing in your house after you've left, squabbling over boxes of unfamiliar items and feeling overburdened. Thousands of families experience this terrible situation each year, but yours doesn't have to be. The goal of Swedish death cleaning, or dust deadening, is to continuously declutter, particularly as an elderly person, to ease the load on surviving family members. What most people don't know, though, is that these 7 phases make seniors nervous because they make them face up to unpleasant realities about their belongings. However, becoming proficient in them might be the best present you can give your loved ones. Allow me to demonstrate why step number 4 transforms everything, and why millions are adopting this transformative strategy. What aspect of this process most worries you? Leave your comments below. Introducing Dolores Martinez, a 72-year-old Phoenix grandmother who believed she was doing everything correctly. Decades of memories surrounded her tidy, well-kept 3-bedroom home. However, Dolores saw her neighbor's children spend 3 months going through their possessions, grieving over choices, and almost disintegrating as a family after her neighbor passed away unexpectedly. At that moment, Dolores came to the horrifying realization that her own house was a ticking time bomb. According to author Margareta Magnusson's method, Swedish death cleaning is clearing out and organizing your home before to your passing, in order to ease the strain on your surviving family members. This is about love in action, not morbid thoughts. The ultimate goal is to lessen the time and effort that those left behind must spend decluttering, which will ease the stress on loved ones who must also deal with your belongings while they are grieving. The 7 stages that initially alarmed Dolores, and most likely frighten you as well, are what I'm offering today. But stay with me because you will be motivated to begin today by what happened to Dolores after she finished this process. If you want more stuff that will change your life in your golden years, click the subscribe button before we get started. Have you ever been required to clean out the house of a loved one? Leave a comment with your experience. First, start with the thing that worries you the least. Most people start with the most difficult things first, which is where Swedish death cleaning goes awry. Dolores made this error at first, plunging right into her late husband's possessions and becoming so distraught that she resigned for 3 months. Magnusson advises against using photos as the initial point of entry, and instead suggests starting with closet decluttering, since you're likely to discover stuff that you no longer wear and that simply no longer fit. Why are elders afraid of this step? Because we've been taught that preserving everything demonstrates how much we value our memories. The truth check. That jumper you haven't worn in 5 years is merely taking up space that could be used for your current life, not helping you remember why you bought it. Dolores's discovery. When she eventually started cleaning out her wardrobe, she discovered gowns from her 30s, shoes that caused her foot pain, and clothing with tags still on it. Decisions were simpler, since the person was lighter and had less emotional attachment. The methodical approach. Take everything out of a single wardrobe section. Make 3 piles. Trash, donate, and retain. Ask yourself, have I worn this in the past year? Make your initial attempt at the procedure as simple as possible in order to achieve rapid success that may serve as inspiration. Why this works? People choose practical, not sentimental, clothing choices. There is no room for doubt as to whether that soiled garment will be beneficial in the future. You either wear it or you don't. The influence on the family. You've already done the legwork for your kids, so they won't have to figure out which outfits meant something when they eventually handle your possessions. Which item of clothing in your closet is the oldest at the moment? Tell us in the comments section. What Dolores discovered, however, altered everything, and it brings us to the step that most seniors find most horrifying. The second is to confront your just-in-case mountain. Dolores reached her largest wall at this point, and you will most likely do the same. After organizing her closet, she went to her kitchen and made the startling discovery that she had enough emergency supplies to run a small eatery. You can discover a lot of emergency supplies you've been hoarding while cleaning. Unfortunately, they should also be thrown away because they merely add to the mess. Seniors are afraid of this step because we have experienced a time when having additional security was necessary. Our parents made it through the Great Depression. We recall a time when you couldn't simply order something from Amazon the following day. Those 47 plastic containers aren't actually for storing leftovers. Rather, they symbolize your anxiety about being unprepared and unable to support your family when they need you. To Dolores' surprise, she found enough plastic bags to stock a grocery store, 15 spatulas, and 23 can openers. What if I need them? Was her justification. Yet in her 40 years of marriage, she had never needed more than 2 of anything. Counting how many of each item you truly own is the liberation process. Ascertain your actual maximum requirement, which is typically 1 to 3 of the majority of things. Consider, will anyone be happier if I save this? Donate the excess and keep the best quality stuff. The change in perspective. Question, what if my children have to deal with all this someday? Rather than what if I need this someday? The average American home has 300,000 objects. However, most families only routinely use 20% of their possession. These are actual figures that count. Usually, the burden of your just-in-case stuff falls on someone else. They kept this load, but why? The emotional breakthrough. According to Magnusson, living frugally and giving away gifts is part of the Swedish death cleaning approach, which can make your life happier. When Dolores eventually parted with her extra kitchenware, she found something wonderful. Cooking was fun once more because she could really find what she needed. How many identical items do you have on hand for contingencies? We won't pass judgment, so share your count below. The following phase shows you where your family's greatest annoyances are hidden away. Let's move on to the topic that causes your palm to perspire. Dolores believed that by implementing systems of organization throughout her home, she was being clever. This stage explains why it's the most dreaded element of Swedish death cleaning. What she actually had were hidden caches of the identical objects strewn all over the place. The 3 junk drawers, the vital papers strewn in 5 different places, the tools in the kitchen, basement, and garage. All of these are common among seniors. Magnusson's method addresses issues like managing personal belongings, heirlooms, and house furnishings. It also addresses issues like pets, hidden vices, and the dangers of man caves. Why do so many people find this step frightening? It makes you face the reality of your organizational structures. Warning: they are hiding places for indecision rather than system. The reality check Dolores received was enlightening. She discovered pens and pencils everywhere, Band-Aids in 4 places, and batteries in 7. In reality, her system was chaos masquerading as planning. The unspoken risk is that your family will have the worst nightmare due to these dispersed stashes. They will presume that every piece of paper in your home may be important after discovering a box of critical documents mingled with expired coupons. The consolidation way is to use a notepad and go room by room. Make a list of every type of thing you come across, such as tools, batteries, pencils, and so forth. Gather everything from every category in one place. Only items that fit in a single place per category should be kept. Work your way down to the smaller objects after starting with the largest ones. When Dolores collected all of her batteries in one location, it was an eye-opener. Most of them were corroded or dead, but she had enough to run a small electronics store. In reality, her readiness was waste masquerading as preparation. From the standpoint of the family, your kids won't be aware that the screwdriver in the basement toolbox is not the same as the one in the kitchen drawer. For some enigmatic reason, they will believe you required both. All of this is liberating because it lessens the tension and emotional strain of owning and maintaining so many belongings by fostering a more peaceful and ordered atmosphere. Dolores found that having a single location for every category really simplified her day-to-day activities. What object, then, have you discovered strewn around your home the most? Please provide your record number. However, hold off until you hear about the step that brought Dolores to tears. It's the next one, and most seniors have been avoiding it for years. This is it. The move that terrified seniors the most, and the one that totally destroyed Dolores. As she sat in her spare bedroom, surrounded by boxes of documents from 1987, she finally saw why her neighbor's kids had been fighting so much after their mother died. Along with getting rid of paper clutter, gather and arrange crucial documents, like bank account information and legal documents. This helps you avoid confusion later on by giving you the chance to sort through paper materials you don't need. The documents themselves are not the source of the terror, but rather all they stand for. Every financial error, every overlooked warranty, and every "what if I need this for taxes" choice made during the previous 30 years. A horrifying reality is that the majority of seniors' valuable papers are jumbled with utterly pointless ones, giving their family a horrible situation. When Dolores discovered her marriage certificate in a box with 1994 pizza coupons, it was the moment she lost it. A certificate of death for her mother was filed beneath expired auto warranties. Meaningless paper drowned out the important stuff. Why do people get paralyzed by this step? Well, it's the embarrassment of bad organizing practices, the overwhelm at the sheer number, the dread of discarding something significant, and the concern over the tax consequences of old paperwork. Creating only 4 categories, important forever, such as birth documents, deeds, and wills, essential current such as insurance and recent taxes, review later for anything you're not sure about, and garbage anything else, is a game changer. The majority of financial records are only need to be retained for 7 years, according to the 7-year rule. That 1998 phone bill, why you preserved it, is not a mystery to your family. Remember the digital element. Our loved ones will also need to sort through our digital mess, so be sure to keep your login credentials close to hand for things like online bank accounts and other crucial information sources. She reduced 47 cartons of paperwork to 1 neat file box and 1 tiny accordion folder after 3 tearful days. She called her daughter in tears of happiness because the relief was so tremendous. Imagine your kids discovering a single, clearly labeled file, rather than dozens of mystery boxes as a family gift. Not only are you keeping paperwork organized, but you're also keeping family members from fighting and being confused during their grieving process. Which document is the oldest that you discovered during your organizing? Let's see who wins. Share the year. More courage is needed for the next step than most seniors believe they possess. This stage, which was absent when your parents went through this process, is, to be honest, the one that makes the majority of seniors feel totally powerless. I had no idea how many accounts, passwords, or digital assets I had accumulated over the years, Dolores realized as she glanced at her computer screen. It might be a big effort, so think about clearing off your desktop and hard disk as well. This may be too much for your family to handle. Seniors are afraid of this step because they know that avoiding digital organization will have disastrous effects on their family, but it feels like learning a foreign language. Your family will receive both your digital and physical belongings, which is a digital nightmare waiting to happen. They risk permanently losing access to crucial accounts, financial data, or priceless memories if they are not properly organized. Dolores' digital shock. She found that she had 12 email addresses, most of which she had forgotten, 47 separate online accounts, thousands of duplicate images on various devices, crucial financial information dispersed across platforms, and, well, no password records anyway. Why does it seem impossible to complete this step? Uncertainty about what is truly valuable online, anxiety related to technology, password overload, and the dread of erasing anything significant. Here is the detailed digital cleansing process. Start with a password audit, making a list of all the accounts you can recall. Consolidating emails into a single primary email and forwarding others is the second step. Third, organize your photographs by classifying them into distinct groups and removing duplicate. Fourth, Document bank accounts by compiling a safe list of crucial login credentials. Fifth, plan your digital legacy by determining what should be kept and what should be removed. Preventing family nightmares. If you don't take this step, your kids may spend months attempting to retrieve images, access accounts, or comprehend your online finances. Because no one knew the passwords, some families never get their priceless digital memories back. The balance of security. You must allow your family to access information without jeopardizing existing security. Think of a sealed envelope containing important information, or a secure password manager. Dolores came up with a straightforward solution. She made a paper that contained all of her important account details, put it in her safety deposit box, and instructed her daughter on where to retrieve it. She also reorganized her photo storage, making logically ordered folders. The unanticipated advantage of decluttering is that it can make you feel fulfilled and at ease since you know that everything is in order. Dolores discovered that her current computer use was considerably more efficient and pleasurable when she organized her digital life. So, over the years, how many email addresses have you created? Who has the most? Let's see. However, the most crucial step of all is the one that brings tears to the eyes of grown elders. We've arrived at the emotional apex, the moment that ultimately freed Dolores but also crushed her heart. Magnuson advises against using photos as the initial step in Swedish death cleaning, since doing so calls for the emotional fortitude you have developed through the earlier stages. Dolores sat with innumerable bins of mementos from her children's life, 47 photo albums, and 23 shoeboxes of loose photos. She felt as like she was wiping out her family's past, which was more frightening than the actual pictures. This step's emotional anxiety compels you to prioritize your most important memories. To be honest, it's unsettling for any parent or grandparent to feel as though they are choosing which aspects of their lives are worth saving. The reality check for the family. Your kids don't want 2,000 pictures of themselves as kids. The 50 that have a lovely narrative to share are what they desire. No one but you will find any significance in that note your middle school crush left you. Dolores' groundbreaking technique is the story test. Does this picture or object convey a significant aspect of our family's history? The joy test. Does seeing something still make me truly happy? Will anyone be happier if I keep this, according to the meaning test? The categories of keepsakes. First, treasure keepers. Objects that have real sentimental or historical significance. The second category is story beginnings, which are items that inspire significant family tales. Third, guilt keepers are people who only preserve things because they feel compelled to. Fourth, items that take up space but don't bring value are known as space fillers. The most difficult choices are 1987 report cards, all of the school's pictures, extra Christmas decorations, and broken jewelry that you'll eventually fix. Between significant and meaningless, these things fall somewhere in the between. The change in the family's perspective. Instead of feeling overburdened by boxes they feel bad going through during their grief, your kids will be appreciative of a well-chosen collection that shares your family's experience. When Dolores completed, she had 5 exquisitely arranged photo albums that beautifully captured her family's history, along with a little box of genuinely sentimental mementos. When she saw them, her daughter wept, not because she was unhappy, but because she was happy that her mother had so carefully kept their most treasured memories. Swedish death cleaning takes legacy creation into account, taking into account how our actions can impact the memories we leave with our loved ones. You're carefully selecting which memories should be kept permanently, not erasing them. Which souvenir is the most significant that you have chosen to give your family? Tell the backstory. The last stage will alter your perception of your entire house. The moment your home becomes a legacy rather than a place to store things is the turning point that changes everything. Standing in her beautifully tidied home, Dolores saw at last that Swedish death cleaning is about choosing to live, not about getting ready to die. Eliminating some of the excess will make life more comfortable and enjoyable. Death cleaning is a permanent method of organization that improves the efficiency of your daily life, not just dusting or mopping. This last phase is the most empowering of all, but it also terrifies seniors because it asks them to imagine their home without them in it. A shift in perspective. Your objective is to build a space that wonderfully communicates your story, works flawlessly for your current life, and is a gift to your family rather than a burden. You don't want to empty your house. If someone walked into this space after I'm gone, would they understand who I am and what matters to me, or would they just see stuff? Was Dolores's last challenge, which she asked herself room by room. The method of the legacy room. Living spaces. Store things that bring you joy every day and fulfill your needs right now. Display areas. Purposefully put your most treasured items on display. Storage spaces. Arrange the remaining goods for easy access and identification. Personal spaces. Design places that express who you are without being overpowering to guests. This step frees you from the burden of holding on to things you don't genuinely need or want, but it also forces you to face mortality. Swedish death cleaning is leading the way in the movement of quality above quantity. Reduce the number of items you own, but make sure they all have a true function or significance. A change in daily life. Cleaning will take less time if you have fewer things. Dolores found her streamlined house was not only more aesthetically pleasing and tranquil, but also easier to maintain. The family conversation. Discussing your decisions with your family is necessary for this step. Explain the significance of the items you retained and how you would like them to be handled. Sharing the journey with your loved ones is crucial, even if they don't understand why you want to begin this process. The final test. Swedish death cleaning aims to make life easier and more efficient in the present while also identifying what you no longer want. Every object in your house should either brilliantly satisfy your present needs or meaningfully carry on your legacy. The last thing Dolores realized was that everything in her house had a purpose. She could spend every day surrounded by only the things that made her happy or met her requirements, and her family could come visit and instantly grasp what was most important to her. Which one of your possessions best embodies your legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Let me now reveal you Dolores's fate after completing this journey. Dolores called me with heartbreaking news 6 months after she finished her Swedish death cleaning tour. That all changed when her daughter paid her a surprise visit and said, "Mom, your home feels so peaceful now. I love spending time here." However, the true change was in her spirit, not only in her physical appearance. Swedish death cleaning makes life straightforward and manageable, which makes space for happiness. Dolores was spending her weekends teaching her granddaughter to cook, gardening, and visiting friends instead of organizing things. She was also taken aback by the financial impact, as she was able to create a little vacation fund by selling stuff she no longer required. Knowing that your affairs are in order can bring a sense of fulfillment and tranquility when you declutter. Above all, the terror had vanished. She had already taken care of the burden she might leave behind, so she was no longer concerned about it. Her kids knew exactly what she valued and where to look for critical papers. Her legacy was ordered rather than disorganized. Dolores changed from being overwhelmed by material belongings to leading a purposeful life. Instead of serving as a place to keep her concerns, her house became to reflect her ideals. You have to make this decision for your family. The burden increases with each day you wait, both for them and for you. Doing Swedish death cleaning for those you care about is a meaningful gesture. This week, start with just one wardrobe. You must start, but you don't have to change everything at once. Which of these 7 steps best describes your circumstances? Leave a remark and let our community help you along the way. Please hit the like button and forward this video to someone who needs to hear it, if it opened your eyes the way it did for Dolores. Your bravery might encourage another family to begin this transformative journey. For weekly insights that will make your golden years truly golden, sign up to our channel. It's never too early to begin living completely now, but it's never too late to start over.